Hey guys, welcome back to the kitchen. So today we're going to do some bacon. I did say on Twitter well, I wasn't going to do bacon pancakes, but I'm going to do that for a breakfast episode. So today we're going to keep it nice, simple. We're going to do bacon. We're going to do blondies. So I have made brownies on the channel before, I think twice. So now we're going to do blondies. Blondies is basically white chocolate brownies. Very simple. They're very, very gooey. So if you like gooey and very, very sweet and sickly, blondies are the best thing for you. So the ingredients for this are, I will put the ingredients list in the description as always. I have here 200 grams of plain flour with half a teaspoon of baking powder. I have 200 grams of white chocolate chips here. You can use a block of white chocolate and cut it up. So you need 200 grams of that. In my big bowl here, I have 175 grams of unsalted butter. Then I have two types of sugar in here. I have 100 grams of just normal caster sugar, and I've got 200 grams of light brown sugar. So two types of sugar in a bowl. And then I've got a nice 23 centimeter loaf tin. Well, sorry, not loaf tin, a tin lined with a bit of greaseproof paper. My oven is now preheating to 175 degrees. If you have a fan assisted, it will be 180. But because I've got no fan, I've set mine to 175. So the first thing we're going to do is get a pan of water on our stove, because we're going to melt our butter and sugar over a pan of water, Bear Marie style. So we're going to get that going, and then we'll get everything else going. Right guys, I've got a pan of water on, I've got my butter and my sugar. What I did forget to say guys is you also need 3 medium-sized eggs for this. So we've got a Bear Marie on here with our sugar and our butter, and we are just going to melt our butter and our sugar together over our pan of water. So we're just going to let this melt now until it's all nice and melted and it's like a liquid consistency. Then once this is all melted, we're going to set this aside for about 5 minutes just to cool down, so when we start adding our eggs it doesn't curdle and scramble our eggs. So we're just going to let this melt now. Right guys, sugar, butter is nicely melted. So what we're going to do now is just wait for the last little bits of butter to melt. Take this off the heat, completely remove it, and then we're going to let this cool down for about 10 minutes before we start adding our eggs into this. Right, so nice and cold. So we're going to slowly crack our eggs in one at a time. Add our first egg. And we're going to start to incorporate our eggs. That's number 1. Number 2 is making sure there's no shells in the egg before we wipe. And now we're going to get a second egg mixed in. Lovely. Now, last egg goes in, no shells. Put that in. Good mix. Let's make sure it's all incorporated. Now what we're going to do is get our flour and our baking powder. We're going to get that in there. We're going to slowly start to combine that. Take your time doing this part because we don't want to get any of that flour, any of that baking powder out of here. We just want it all into our mix. Now we can slowly start to speed up mix. Making sure we work down the sides. Just get a tea towel, just clean up all the bowl, make it nice and neat. Lastly to do is to get our white chocolate chips into the bowl, and that is our Blondie butter ready to go into our tin. So we're going to get our tin, line it with greaseproof paper, and then all this will go into the oven. Right guys, so that we've lined with baking paper. So this is going to go into my oven that's been preheated to 175 degrees for about 40 to 45 minutes. After 40 minutes, we're just checking it to see if it needs that extra 5 minutes. So this is going to go into the oven now for 40 to 45 minutes. Right guys, I've taken it out of the oven, so to test it, it should peel away from the sides of the tin. And then when you get like a skewer and poke it in and it comes out, it should be nice and clean, but it should have some crumbs on it. That means it's done. So what we're going to do now is just leave this for about 10 minutes before we take it out the tray, just to give it time just to settle and rest. So this is going to sit here now for about 10 minutes. Right guys, brownie is now done. I've taken it out the tin onto my chopping board. I'm just going to leave that there for another 10 minutes just to cool down, and that's it. You can decorate it with a bit of more melted white chocolate on top. You can leave it as is. It is very sickly because it is white chocolate with all that sugar at the bottom. So there we have it. That's just a very, very simple Blondie recipe, guys. Hopefully you have enjoyed it, and hopefully you guys will make this. And if you do make it, let me know what you think. Put your comments in the comments section below, and then we'll get back to you. Right guys, that is how I make a very, very simple Blondie. You can have this for afternoon tea, so with a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, up to you. Have it as dessert, have it warm. You can have it warm. It might be a bit gooey in the centre because it's been warm, but if you let it cool down properly, it'll be nice hard gooey texture. So hopefully you've enjoyed this, guys. As always, I'll leave all my bits and pieces in the description. I'll leave the recipe as well. My new blogging website is up and running, so I'll leave the links for that and links for everything else. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Next time we'll do some breakfast recipes, so stick along for that. We're going to do bacon pancakes with maple syrup straight from Canada. So thank you very much for being here, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you guys later.